James Mitchell sat in his downtown office, staring at the financial reports spread across his mahogany desk. At 45, he was the founder and CEO of Mitchell Tech Solutions, a software company that had revolutionized cloud computing. His personal wealth was estimated at just over $3 billion, but lately none of it brought him any satisfaction. His divorce from Catherine had been finalized 6 months ago. She'd taken a substantial settlement and moved to Paris with her personal trainer. There were no children. Catherine had never wanted them, and James had been too focused on building his empire to push the issue. Now, sitting alone in his corner office with its panoramic city views, he wondered what it had all been for. His assistant knocked and entered. "Mr. Mitchell, your car is ready for the charity board meeting." James waved her away. "Cancel it. Cancel everything for the next week." She looked shocked. James Mitchell never canceled anything. "Sir, are you feeling all right?" "I'm fine. I just need some time away. Tell the board I'll be out of contact for a few days." After she left, James sat in the silence of his office and made a decision. He was tired of the fakery, tired of people treating him differently because of his money. He wanted to know what it felt like to be ordinary, to interact with people who had no idea who he was. He went home to his penthouse and changed into clothes he'd never worn: jeans from a department store, a plain flannel shirt, and worn work boots he'd bought once for a photo op at a construction site. He looked at himself in the mirror and barely recognized the man staring back. Without the $1,000 suits and the aura of power, he looked like any other middle-aged guy. James drove his oldest car, a beat-up truck he kept at his country house, into a neighborhood on the other side of town. It was a working-class area, the kind of place where people struggled to make ends meet but took pride in their community. He parked and walked until he found what he was looking for: a small diner called Rosie's, with red vinyl booths and a worn but clean appearance. He went inside and slid into a corner booth. The place smelled like coffee and bacon, and there was a comfortable, lived-in feeling to it. A waitress approached, a woman in her early 30s with blonde hair pulled back in a ponytail. She wore a white t-shirt with stains on it, and she looked tired, but her smile was genuine. "Welcome to Rosie's. What can I get you?" "Just coffee for now," James said. "Thanks." She returned with a steaming cup and went back to her other tables. James watched her work. She was efficient and kind, stopping to chat with the regulars, ruffling the hair of an elderly man who seemed to be a fixture at the counter. There was something about her that drew his attention: a warmth, a grace despite clearly being exhausted. He was so absorbed in watching the rhythm of the diner that he almost didn't notice the little girl who appeared beside his booth. She was maybe 6 years old, with blonde hair like the waitress and serious blue eyes. She wore a pink t-shirt that had seen better days. "Hi," she said. "I'm Lily." "Hello, Lily, I'm James. Are you new here?" "I haven't seen you before." "Yes, I'm new." "Do you come here often?" "I live here," she said matter-of-factly. "Well, not in the diner, but my mom works here, so I'm here a lot." "That's her." She pointed to the blonde waitress. "I see, she seems very nice." "She's the best mom in the world," Lily said with absolute conviction. "She works really hard so we can have a good life." The waitress noticed Lily talking to James and hurried over, looking apologetic. "Lily, honey, don't bother the customers." "I'm so sorry, sir." "She's not bothering me at all," James said quickly. "She's delightful company." The woman smiled, and James noticed how it transformed her tired face. "That's kind of you to say. I'm Emily. Lily's supposed to be doing her homework in the back, but she gets lonely." "It's really no problem." Emily started to turn away, then paused. "Have you decided what you'd like to eat?" James looked at the menu. Everything was remarkably inexpensive. "What do you recommend?" "The meatloaf is good. Rosie makes it herself. Comes with mashed potatoes and vegetables." "I'll have that, thank you." As the afternoon wore on, James found himself returning to Rosie's several times over the next few days. He couldn't quite explain why. The food was good but simple. The atmosphere was comfortable but nothing special. Yet there was something about the place, about Emily and Lily, that drew him back. He learned their story in pieces. Emily was a single mother. Lily's father had left when she was a baby, and Emily had been raising her alone ever since. She worked double shifts when she could, trying to save money for a better apartment, for Lily's future. They lived in a small studio above a laundromat, but Emily kept it spotless and filled with love. Lily did her homework at a corner table in the diner every afternoon, and she'd started joining James in his booth, chattering about school and her friends and her dreams of becoming a veterinarian someday. "Do you have kids?" Lily asked him one day. James felt a pang. "No, I don't." "Why not?" "Lily," Emily said, appearing with James's coffee. "That's a personal question." "It's all right," James said. "The honest answer, Lily, is that I was always too busy with work. I thought I had plenty of time, and then suddenly I didn't." Emily met his eyes, and he saw understanding there. "It's never too late," she said softly. "If you really want something, it's never too late to change course." On his fifth visit to the diner, James arrived to find Emily looking distressed. She was moving quickly between tables, but he could see the worry on her face. Lily sat in her usual corner, but instead of doing homework, she was curled up with her head on the table. When Emily came to take his order, James asked, "Is everything okay?" Emily's professional smile wavered. "It's fine." "What can I get you?" "Emily, please. I can see something's wrong." She glanced around, then slid into the booth across from him for just a moment. "It's Lily. She's not feeling well. She's been running a fever for 2 days, and I think I need to take her to the doctor. But I don't have health insurance right now, and the urgent care clinic wants payment up front, and I don't get paid until Friday." And she stopped, looking embarrassed. "I'm sorry." "You don't need to hear this." "How much do you need?" James asked quietly. "What? No, I wasn't asking for money." "I would never—" "I know you weren't, but I'm offering." "How much?" Emily's eyes filled with tears. "I can't accept that. We barely know each other. Sometimes that's when it's easiest to help. No strings, no expectations. Just one person helping another, please." Emily was silent for a long moment, pride warring with necessity on her face. Finally, she whispered, $200 would cover the visit and any medication she might need. James pulled out his wallet, the simple one he'd been carrying this week, not his usual designer billfold, and took out the cash he'd withdrawn that morning. "Here's $400 for the doctor, and for you to take the rest of the day off to care for her." "I can't." "Yes, you can. Your daughter needs you." Emily took the money with shaking hands. "I'll pay you back. I promise. Every penny. Only if you insist. But there's no rush." He watched as Emily gathered Lily and her things, as she stopped to explain to Rosie, the owner, that she needed to leave. Rosie, a grandmother figure with gray hair and kind eyes, immediately agreed. As they left, Lily turned and waved at James, and he felt his heart clench. James didn't go back to the diner for a few days. He told himself he was giving them space. But truthfully, the experience had shaken him. The desperation in Emily's eyes, knowing that a medical emergency for her daughter could be financially devastating. The reality that $200 was the difference between Lily getting care or not, it had awakened something in him. He sat in his penthouse and thought about all the money he had, all the resources at his disposal, and he wondered what he was doing with any of it. Yes, he had his charitable foundation. Yes, he donated to worthy causes, but he realized he'd been writing checks to feel better about himself while remaining insulated from the actual struggles of real people. When he returned to Rosie's the following Monday, Emily spotted him immediately and hurried over. "James, I'm so glad you came back. I was afraid you wouldn't." "Why wouldn't I?" "I don't know. I thought maybe I'd scared you off with my problems." She reached into her apron pocket and pulled out an envelope. "I wanted to give you this. It's not all of it yet, but it's a start. $50. And I'll pay you the rest as soon as I can." James pushed the envelope back toward her. "Keep it. Use it for something Lily needs." "I can't do that. You were so generous." "Emily, please. It would make me happy to know you used it for Lily, maybe some new books or a treat, whatever she needs." Emily's eyes filled with tears again. "Why are you so kind to us?" "You don't know us at all." James thought carefully about his answer. He still hadn't told her who he really was, and he wasn't sure why. Maybe because this felt real in a way nothing in his life had felt in years. Maybe I needed to remember what really matters. And you and Lily reminded me. Over the next weeks, James became a regular fixture at Rosie's. He came in for lunch most days, sometimes for dinner. He helped Lily with her math homework. He listened to Emily's dreams of going back to school to become a nurse. He met the other regulars, construction workers and bus, drivers and retirees, and found he enjoyed their company more than the CEOs and power brokers he usually socialized with. He learned that Emily had been a promising college student studying nursing when she got pregnant. Her boyfriend had left, her parents had been furious and cut her off, and she dropped out to work and raise Lily. She'd been trying for years to save enough to go back to school, but something always came up. A car repair, an unexpected medical bill, the endless grinding reality of living paycheck to paycheck. One evening, as Emily was wiping down tables after the dinner rush, Lily came running up to James's booth with a drawing. "I made this for you," she announced proudly. It was a crayon picture of the three of them, James, Emily, and Lily, standing in front of the diner with a bright yellow sun overhead. At the top, in careful letters, she'd written, "My family." James felt emotion clog his throat. "This is beautiful, Lily, thank you." "You're like a dad to me," Lily said seriously. "I never had a dad before, but I think if I did, I'd want him to be like you." Emily had approached and heard this last part. She looked stricken. "Lily, honey, that's not— James is our friend, but we can't—" "It's okay," James said softly, looking at Emily. "I'm honored that she feels that way." That night, after Lily fell asleep in one of the booths and Emily covered her with a sweater, James and Emily sat together with coffee. "I need to tell you something," James said. "Something I should have told you from the beginning." Emily looked nervous. "Okay. I haven't been completely honest with you about who I am. My name really is James, but I'm not just some regular guy. I'm James Mitchell, Mitchell Tech Solutions." Emily stared at him. "The James Mitchell? The billionaire?" "Yes." She stood up abruptly, her face flushing. "Why didn't you tell me?" "God, you must have been laughing at me. At my pathetic problems. At my $200 emergencies." "No," James said urgently, standing too. "Never that. I came here because I wanted to be treated like a normal person. I wanted to know what it felt like to be valued for who I am, not what I have. And you and Lily gave me that. You showed me what really matters. You showed me kindness without expecting anything in return. I don't understand. You're a billionaire. Why do you need anything from us?" James ran his hand through his hair. "Because I was dying inside. Because I had everything and nothing at the same time. Because I'd forgotten what it meant to connect with people in a real way. And then I met you and Lily and you reminded me. You gave me a reason to get up in the morning. You made me want to be better." Emily sank back down into the booth, processing this. "So what happens now? You've had your experience with the common folk. And now you go back to your real life?" "That's not what this is," James said, sitting across from her. "Emily, these past weeks have been the most genuine, the most meaningful of my entire life. I've fallen in love with Lily's laugh and her bright mind. I've fallen in love with your strength and your kindness. I've fallen in love with this diner and the community here. And I've fallen in love with you." Emily's breath caught. "James, I know I've deceived you by not telling you the truth from the start. And I'm sorry for that. But my feelings are real. What we've built is real. And I don't want to go back to my old life. I want this. I want you and Lily. I want to be the man Lily drew in that picture." Emily's eyes filled with tears. "I don't know what to say. This is all so overwhelming. You're a billionaire. I'm a waitress with a 6-year-old daughter and about $300 in my savings account. We're from different worlds. Money doesn't determine worth," James said. "You've taught me that. You're one of the richest people I've ever met. Emily, rich in love, in character, in everything that actually matters. I'm the one who's been poor." They talked for hours that night, long after the diner closed, with Lily sleeping peacefully in the booth. Emily shared her fears, that he would get bored of their simple life, that he would hurt Lily, that she wasn't sophisticated enough for his world. James listened and addressed each concern with patience and honesty. "I'm not asking you to join my world," he said. "I'm asking if I can be part of yours. And maybe together we can build something new, something better." The relationship didn't develop quickly. Emily was cautious, protective of herself and especially of Lily. But James was patient. He continued to come to the diner. He met Emily's friends, the ones who'd stood by her when her family hadn't. He proved through consistent action over months that he was serious. He used his resources thoughtfully. He set up a trust fund for Lily's education, But he didn't overwhelm them with money. He helped Emily enroll in online nursing classes, paying the tuition but insisting she earn the degree herself. When the building where they lived was condemned, he bought them a modest house in the same neighborhood. Not a mansion, but a safe, comfortable home. Most importantly, he showed up. For Lily's school concerts, for Emily's study sessions, for family dinners at Rosie's. He didn't try to change them or their life. He just joined it. 18 months after that first day in the diner, James and Emily were married in a small ceremony at Rosie's, surrounded by the people who mattered most. Lily was the flower girl, beaming with pride in her new dress. Rosie cried and took approximately 500 photographs. James officially adopted Lily 6 months later. When the judge asked if she wanted James to be her father, Lily's response was immediate and emphatic. "Yes, he's already my dad." This just makes it official. James transformed his approach to business and philanthropy. He established programs to help working parents access affordable childcare and health care. He created scholarships for single parents trying to finish their education. He worked with local communities to understand what they actually needed rather than imposing solutions from above. But his favorite role was the simplest one, being a husband to Emily and a father to Lily, reading bedtime stories, helping with homework, making pancakes on Sunday mornings, attending parent-teacher conferences, the ordinary moments that had eluded him for so long. One evening, several years after that first meeting, the family sat together in their living room. Lily, now 10, was working on an essay about someone who'd influenced her life. She was writing about James. "What made you decide to come into Mom's diner that day?" Lily asked. James thought about how to answer. "I was lost," he said honestly. "I had everything anyone could want, but I felt empty inside. I wanted to know what it felt like to be normal, to be valued for who I was rather than what I had." "And did you find it?" Lily asked. James looked at Emily, who smiled at him from where she sat grading papers for her nursing classes. She'd graduated and was now working at the local hospital. He looked at Lily, brilliant and kind, already planning her future as a veterinarian. He looked around at their comfortable home, not grand, but filled with love. "I found something better," he said. "I found a family. I found purpose. I found out that the richest person isn't the one with the most money. It's the one with the most love." Emily set down her papers and came to sit beside him, taking his hand. "We're the ones who are rich," she said. "Lily and I. You could have walked past that diner 100 times and never come in. You could have helped us once and then disappeared. But you stayed. You chose us, day after day, even when it wasn't easy or glamorous. That's real wealth." Lily abandoned her essay and came to join them on the couch, squeezing in between her parents. "I'm glad you came into the diner," she said. "I'm glad you chose us." James wrapped his arms around his wife and daughter, these two people who'd saved him from a life of hollow success and lonely accomplishment. They'd shown him what mattered. They'd given him purpose and love and a reason to get up every morning. "I'm the lucky one," he said. "You two took a lost, lonely man and taught him what it means to be truly wealthy. Not in dollars, but in the things that actually count: love, family, connection. You gave me everything that matters." And as they sat together in their modest living room, in their comfortable middle-class house, in the neighborhood where Emily had struggled for years, James Mitchell knew he was the richest man in the world, not because of the billions in his bank account, but because he'd found what money could never buy: a family who loved him for exactly who he was, not what he had. Sometimes the greatest fortune comes not from what we accumulate, but from what we're willing to let go of. James had let go of his pretenses, his isolation, his belief that success was measured in dollars and deals, and in return he'd gained everything that truly mattered. The diner on 5th Street had changed his life, but more accurately, two people, a hard-working mother and her bright, loving daughter, had changed his life. They'd shown him that kindness wasn't about grand gestures or huge donations. It was about showing up, about being present, about valuing people for who they are. And that lesson, James knew, was worth more than all the money in the world.